Hi Melanie, I hope you are having a nice summer in Maine thus far. I thought I'd send you a video of some stuff that you could do in the Maine home gym over the summer. So you could focus on increasing your range of motion and flexibility, as well as working on strength of core, butt, and back, kind of some of the stuff that we talked about in the sessions that we had together. So anyway, I'm just going to go over a couple of moves here as a reminder. If you have any questions, you can follow up and we can text or email or do a phone call about it, or a FaceTime like I have been doing with Elizabeth. So first things first, remember I want you to lay on your back. You're going to work on finding neutral spine. You'll work on making sure that you've got a nice curve in your low back, that your pubic bone isn't tilted upward when you're not arching. You're going to come here, you'll have your hands on your hip bones, and you'll come into that marching with that exhale breath. If you remember, what I want you to do is I want you to inhale and relax everything, including your pelvic floor, and then exhale, do that pelvic floor activation. Lift that pelvic floor muscle upward, and then lift the leg up, and then back down. You'll know that you're not doing it correctly if you start to swerve through the hips. So if the hip bones start to wiggle around, you're probably not getting that activation through the low abs. So inhale, relax, exhale, pelvic floor, and then the knee just comes up, the foot comes off the floor just barely, and then right back down. So that's the first exercise. You probably want to do about a minute of those. Remember, we're not looking for fatigue here, we're just looking for activation. Next one, we'll have our hands on the ground with our palms facing up. We'll bring our legs up into tabletop, and we'll just hold it right here. Again, we're looking for activation of the low abs here. If you want to make this a little harder, you can drop a heel down and then right back up. If you start to feel this in your low back, that's a no-go. So if you do, reset, relax, hug your knees in, rock around, bring both feet to the ground, and then come back up very slowly, one leg at a time. Okay? So those are two activation exercises for your low abs and getting that pelvic floor integrated into the activation of your ab muscles. So I want you to start with that, and then I want you to come onto the ground. Remember how we worked that internal and external rotation of your legs at the femur? So we want to work on that too. So you've got your legs positioned. So one is in an internal rotation and one is in an external rotation. You're going to try not to use your hands here, and you're just going to rotate so that you are then in the opposite. Now this one is an internal rotation and this one is an external rotation. You'll just go back and forth here. This one caused a little bit of pain, if I remember correctly, in that left side, so just be careful that you don't start to cramp there. So I would do that probably back and forth like 10 times, and then you'll sit upright with those legs out in front of you, and you're going to go for little internal rotation taps here. Usually there's a little bit more stickiness on the internal rotation than there is on the external rotation, so just get a little bit more of that internal rotation here by dropping the knee to the ground, and again, you can just do that 10 times too. Then what I want you to do is I want you to find your PVC pipe, and you'll go for 10 overhead pass-throughs, really opening up the chest here, pausing at the top and really kind of growing taller here. The PVC pipe kind of pushes up towards the ceiling. When you're going through these pass-throughs, I want you to really focus on keeping your ribs over top of your hips. So one thing we talked about is flaring the ribs out, kind of pushing the chest up to the ceiling. We want to keep our ribs down, but we still want to grow tall, okay? So you want to think about the rib connection to on the front side of the body to the hip, but you also want to grow tall through the spine. So you're coming up and over without changing your low body, right? That would be me just kind of compensating by pushing my body forward. So we want to stay away from that. We want to grow as tall as we can upward and then come up and over. So 10 of those as well. Just keep it simple with 10s. And then another thing that I want you to do, grab my band here. Another thing I want you to do is using the red band, we're going to work on the strength of your back through this whole area through here. One thing I want you to try not to do is pull with these upper back kind of low neck muscles. So you'll hold the band so that your palms are facing upward, your elbows are in, and you're just gonna do little tiny band pull apart. So that's hardly any range of motion there at all, just out and in. And again, what I want you to think about is, if you look at me from the side as I pull apart, my bone structure from my shoulders to my ribs to my hips are not changing. If I were to do it in a way that was compensating, I would be pulling back, right? But instead, I'm kind of setting myself, my abs turned on, my ribs down, and then I'm just doing tiny little micro pull aparts. After you do 10 of those, your palms will go, still stay facing up, your arms will stretch out, and you'll do pull aparts this way as well. So big pull aparts here. Same thing, I'm thinking about my ribs staying down and my butt staying turned on. So those are 2 exercises for your mid-back. In terms of your low body, I want you to think about those squat sit-downs that we did. Elizabeth has a box in her gym. I think maybe it's not built quite yet, but she will have it built. And that's something that you can use to sit down on. Because remember, I had you do sit-downs on a box, and I had you do sit-downs on a couch. So that's what I want you to think of. And when you're doing your squats, you'll do 10 of these squats. So your butt will go back, and then you will bend the knees to come down to the box or the couch or wherever you are. So what I want you to think about here is your big toe stays down, your pinky toe stays down, your heel stays on the ground, and you're gonna stick your butt back, and then bend the knees to drop down, and then press back up. The whole time you're going through these squats, I want you to think about how much your thigh and butt are working for you. What I don't want you to feel it is over top of the knee. And the way that we can ensure that the knee doesn't do more work than it's supposed to is by pushing the butt back. So if the butt goes down, it turns on all these muscles. If I were to go straight down, it would be loading my knee area. So butt back, and then come down and up. Another thing that I would love for you to do is, on one of the mats, do some ground to floor get-ups. So you'll come back and down with one leg, and I call this like the proposal position. So you're in about a 90-degree angle of your front leg, and your back leg is also at a 90-degree angle right underneath the hip. And what you'll do is, you can use your PVC pipe for help here. What you'll do is, I'll turn this way so you can see me. You'll lean forward slightly over the front thigh, and you'll press yourself up, and then you'll step back, and you'll come down very slowly in control. So again, what we're doing is, as we lean over the leg, we're turning on the butt and the thigh of the front leg, staying away from that knee area. And you're gonna drive yourself up and right back down. Okay? So 10 of those on each side as well. So I think between a little bit of that hip mobility, a little bit of the ab activation, a little bit of that upper back stuff, and your squats and your lunges, I think you'll be in good shape. I also would love for you to spend a little time on the treadmill. I know Elizabeth has the Peloton treadmill, and I think that an incline walking would be really beneficial in terms of cardiovascular health, but also working on strength of the core and the lower body. So if I had to give you some ranges in terms of using the Peloton, I would do it manually, don't do a class. I would also do an incline somewhere probably between 2 and 6 is what I would guess for you, and a pace of about maybe like 3.3 to 3.8. I want you to feel like you're walking fast. I want you to feel like you're going uphill, but I want you to feel comfortably uncomfortable. So it should not feel like anything where you have to hold on to the sides. I want your arms moving. I want a little bit of rotation through your torso. And somewhere between, I would say, 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much time you have in the day. I also just ordered you some dumbbells for the pool. So once those come, send me a text and I'll give you a little program of pool stuff to do, okay? Okay, I hope you have a great summer and I look forward to hearing from you.